drugs, just like the Mumbai attacks later turned out led by a, quote, CIA asset, right. Chicago Tribune, and of course, blonde-haired over there in Mumbai. This is the Al-Qaeda guys, and they just find one patsy who was drugged completely out of his mind on LSD, PCP, ketamine, and other drugs. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right. It's like the Robert Kennedy assassination, the girl in the polka dot dress. Seems like there's always somebody around acting as a handler. And of course, when the news comes out, the two things that strike me is, number one, he was in meetings with prominent business leaders and political leaders, and that also that apparently the police had him identified before they ever caught anybody, and before anybody even actually knew what was going on. So I just see all these telltale tracks that tell me there's more to this story than what we're being told. And of course, you and I both, Alex, we tend to deal in the macro geopolitical scene, and I think it does fit in. And when he starts talking about being a member of the Knights Templar, of course, that throws it into a whole new level, because you have to understand that when we start talking about Masonic orders, there are two very distinct orders, the American Freemasonry and then European Freemasonry. American Freemasonry pretty well got decimated back in the early 1800s when the first third party in America was the anti-Masonic party. And they got into such ill repute that it took them about 100 years to rebuild. And when they did, they are mostly now into into benevolent activities such as burn centers, etc. And so I think most American Freemasons are probably just good old boys, trying to make some business contacts and trying to do some good. This is very different from the European Freemasonry, which came under the control of the Illuminati back in 1782 at the time of the Wilhelmsbad Conference, when European Freemasonry was infiltrated and basically taken over by the Illuminati. And of course, then you understand that Freemasonry itself was a creation of the old Knights Templars, which had become such a powerful, wealthy, and controlling organization that the Pope actually had to move against them and try to eradicate them. In fact, most of what we know about the Knights Templar is simply from the anti-Templar propaganda put out by the church. And so, see, history is always with us. And now here we have this latest news item, and it ties right into this ancient society. And, of course, then where did the Knights Templars claim that they got all their knowledge and their information?
From the secrets of King Solomon, and exactly. From their conquering, of course, of Jerusalem, and claiming that they may have actually dug up the Ark of the Covenant and buried it somewhere. Holy Grail, all of this myth, but the Holy Grail, it turns out, really is just their occultic knowledge and information. And then, of course, tell folks about Friday the 13th. That's when they had the big purge and killed a lot of them. And then the remnants ran with a bunch of their loot to Scotland, and then you see England becoming the new power base.
That's exactly right. In fact, a lot of people have seen the Mel Gibson movie, Braveheart. The big final battle there was the Battle of Brockburn, which was what freed Scotland from English tyranny. And it's an interesting thing to study because, as you say, the Knights Templars had fled Europe in the wake of the attack on them by the French king and the Pope. And yet, on the Battle of Brockburn, the British had them outnumbered and basically had almost carried the day when suddenly a new contingent arrived on the field. And by many accounts, this was Knights Templars who were basically the Waffen-SS of their day. They were greatly feared and were a tremendous military order and force. And they showed up, and suddenly the English turned tail, started running, and the king, was left standing there, so he turned and ran too.
It was the Deus Ex. So the Templars were the hero that comes in out of the blue right at the moment they're needed.
Right, exactly. And this seems to be part of their forte right up until today. And so all I can say is for the listeners is just keep an open mind, keep in mind how often you've been lied to, and just hang on and don't allow them to use this as a further mechanism to destroy your liberties and put their hand further down your pants.
Well, absolutely. They're using it. It's all over the news to go after nationalist parties that don't want open borders. And what the political class is doing is they bring in foreigners who could be assimilated and be good folks, but they're turned into political special interest against the people that originally, were in the area, and the older political systems that were hard-won liberties and freedoms. Across the board, the big foundations finance through taxpayer money the immigrant hordes and then turn them into a political weapon. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Attention gardeners, this is an urgent GCN self-reliance update. GCN has just discovered a new bioactive superfood for garden plants, flowers, and herbs. It's called ProtoGrow, and it's so effective at producing rapid plant growth that it seems to almost force plants to grow like crazy under practically any soil and light conditions. Now, here's the best part for our listeners who garden for self-reliance. ProtoGrow's unique blend of C nutrients maximizes mineral uptake and dramatically increases bloom set, creating maximum plant growth in minimum time. ProtoGrow works by providing geometric keys, which have the capacity to actually unlock the genetic code for nutritional uptake in plants. ProtoGrow's full spectrum plant fertility means fruits and vegetables with extraordinary taste and up to 10 times the nutritional value. And if you want to double or triple the potency of herbs or wheatgrass, you can. If you want to grow nutritionalized superfoods with non-hybrids, it's now easy. GCN listeners who want to grow dirt cheap superfoods should visit the ProtoGrow website at growlikecrazy.com. That's www.growlikecrazy.com, or call 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365.
Hello, this is Steve Shank. What does freedom mean to you? eFoods Direct is celebrating freedom with the Freedom Food Giveaway. Each week in July, they are giving away a one-year food supply. Just go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and register to win a one-year food supply with a 25-year shelf life. At efoodsdirect.com/Alex, look for the new Patriot Pack, a $149 12-day supply of food, plus accessories that is free with a purchase of $235 or more. Call 800-409-5633 or on the web efoodsdirect.com/Alex and register to win a free one-year supply of food. Then listen to Alex Jones to announce the weekly winners. Also, the first 50 to register each day win a $50 subscription to the Voice of Reason e-newsletter. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex or call 800-409-5633.
If you're concerned about radiation poisoning from Japan in the air, water, or food and can't find potassium iodide, go to RestoreYourHealthNow.com and choose Liquid Zeolite. Liquid Zeolite is hands down the best product to remove radiation from your body and safely removes toxins, heavy metals, boosts energy levels, and promotes a strong immune system. For fatigue, muscle weakness, headaches, memory loss, influenza, joint pain, or toxic radiation poisoning, use Liquid Zeolite from RestoreYourHealthNow.com. Liquid Zeolite is so powerful it was used to clean up contamination in Chernobyl, yet so gentle you won't even know you're taking it. Liquid Zeolite comes with a money-back guarantee, but is only available at RestoreYourHealthNow.com. Learn how to get free bottles of Liquid Zeolite at RestoreYourHealthNow.com. That's RestoreYourHealthNow.com, or call 800-880-9976. Call 800-880-9976 today and learn how to get free bottles of Liquid Zeolite.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.
And again, we were getting into the immigration issue. This is meant to demonize anybody who's not for totally open borders. Take the United States. The Ford Foundation brings in millions of illegals. They have millions and millions more children. And then an American flag at a public school in Texas or California is so evil that you have to take the American flag off. I mean, that's on record. And I didn't mean to get off into that area, but during the break I was talking to Jim, and he gave us a statistic. Give us that number, Jim.
In 2010, there were 4.6 4.2 million Mexicans immigrated into the United States.
Jim, start over. We didn't have you faded up. Start the statistic over again.
Okay, between 2000 and 2010, 4.2 million Mexicans immigrated into the United States. Doesn't really specify whether this was legal immigration or illegal immigration. But the point is that in that same 10-year time period, there were 7.2 million babies born to these Mexicans living in the United States. And if they're legal, fine. But the problem is when you open the immigration floodgates wide, then what was once a reasonably homogeneous society becomes fragmented, and then you have these calls, for, raise the Mexican flag or raise some other flag, and this completely destroys the homogeneous.
Well, that's what the globalists want, Jim, as you know.
Exactly, that's the plan.
Well, I mean, they admit that that's the plan, and to expand on that. The illegals are proud of Mexico. That's the majority. And, just like at the soccer game in Southern California, even 80% of the people cheered, the Mexican team and booed during the Star-Spangled Banner.
But see, this is just totally out of whack. Let's go back and look at all of America, except for the natives, of course, are immigrants. All of us came from somewhere else. But in the great immigration thrust of the late 1800s, you had people coming from Poland and Germany and Italy and, all these countries. And they were proud of their heritage. They were proud of their country.
Yeah, being proud of heritage is good.
That is good.
But then hating America.
Proud of their country. But if you're going to come to America, you need to do like the immigrants of the 1800s. You need to assimilate. You need to learn the language. In fact, so many people, particularly from Eastern Europe, would come over here and they'd have these unpronounceable names, Polish and Czech and all like that. And so they changed their name. And then they pledged to be good Americans. And in World War II, you had Japanese Americans, you had German Americans, Italian Americans fighting tooth and toenail along with everybody else. These are Americans, okay? That nobody said you're supposed to come to this country, ask for all the benefits of being American, and then spit on the flag and say that your flag needs to be raised higher than the United States
flag.
Well, look,
Jim, you're right. Well said. It's national suicide. But that's the issue. It is the Ford Foundation. It is the U.S. government. They are globalist. They want to break down our sovereignty, so they're importing a very nationalistic group in, telling Americans not to be nationalistic, so they can later break up the country, and that is the essence of globalism. I want to come back for 5 more minutes with you, Jim, and get back into Knights Templars. What do you make of the news reports that he was on drugs and that he was meeting with, quote, powerful people in England?
Well, I think that, coupled with the idea that the police knew who he was even before the gun smoke had settled, tells me that there is an underlying story here. The drug thing, of course, this is something I've been screaming about for years. One thing that everyone is sincerely concerned about are these school shootings, and yet when you go back and study it, almost every...
Stay there. Let's talk about school shootings. We're back in 1 minute with Jim Mars. I'm Alex Jones.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Hi, this is Steve Shank and Babs Rosberg with eFoods Direct. Babs, you work a lot with shipping, and things are going absolutely nuts with this new Independence Month Patriot Pack that eFoods is giving away.
The way things are going, we're shipping thousands of these great little Patriot Packs out. Just an example, Sherry from Arkansas made a $1,300 order. We shipped her 5 free Patriot Packs, $750 more free food.
Folks are really surprised at what we're actually giving away. Now, folks, we've had 235 years of freedom in this country, so for every $235 worth of food ordered, we give away a $149 Patriot Pack free.
To order the best food on the planet, call 800-409-5633 or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
A free 12-day supply Patriot Pack with every $235